Hi, this is Chantal from the Purring Cat Studio, and welcome back to my channel. Are we having ribs? No. No, this is the box I will use, or at least part of it, because it's going to be a mini journal that I'm going to make, to make a journal. And let me just show you how it all started today. Just to see, so you understand how the creative mind works, or at least mine. So my son had cereal this morning from those mini boxes. Usually I don't buy them, but they were on special, and because they're very small, you have to eat two, right? So these are very tiny, and I thought, oh, I would like to make a tiny little journal. So I was looking through digital papers on Etsy, and I fell in love with a kit, and I couldn't help myself. As you know, I'm addicted to digital papers. So I was starting to fussy cut all the elements, and then I stopped myself because I thought, you know what, I'm going to show you how beautiful these are before I actually use them. So as you can see, I already started cutting, and then I already cut one, which was a page that had like a card and little words and all these little pockets, and tuck spots, right? But I stopped myself to show you these. So that's another page of elements and journaling cards. They're amazing. And look at all these beauties. I'm gonna make so many beauties with this. I can't wait to start. Oh my God. Oh, it is so worth it. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, it costs me a lot of money in ink, but I can make mini journals. I can offer some as gifts, sell some on Etsy, and in the end, it's all worth it because I enjoy it thoroughly. Plus, I printed this kit, and I mean, I'm not gonna use all of these elements in one journal. That would be, it would be a dictionary at the end. Oops, those are other papers I printed today in the grungy vibe. Let me put that back. And but yeah, I think it's worth it. And these are the journal pages, if you will. I usually, sometimes, not usually, but sometimes I'll try and print them on coffee stained paper. Yeah. I didn't this time, so I'll have to find a way to decorate the white on the other side, or I will reprint and do a two-sided print. I also do that sometimes, so that you choose which page you want on the other side and you just print on both sides, right? And yeah, I mean, look at these papers. They are just so gorgeous. And so yeah, it all started by me looking at this box of cereal, which was yellow, which I'm thinking maybe my subconscious was looking for something yellow, and I do love bees. I mean, it's May, and I try not to cut the grass for a long time, as long as we can, to let the bees have a go at the dandelions. And so, I don't know, I just got inspired. I can't wait to start my journal. But the box, although extremely cute, I mean, isn't that just like gorgeous? Like, it would make such a beautiful look. It would be all chunky and small, but I'm not sure, because it's still a lot of work. I mean, it's not because a journal is small that it's less work. It's just as much work, if not more sometimes. So I think this would be extremely cute, and I'm not saying I'm not gonna make one this small, but because I have the intention on using like one of these for the cover, and I do want some fabric showing, so I'm thinking that this would be a better, bee, get it? Wow, that was a bad pun, but I had to. But I'm thinking just about up to here, right? I would cut it so it would still be fairly small, a little bit like my sunflower journal I just posted and finished. very small and chunky because I have all the intentions of keeping this thickness. So small and very, very chunky. And so before I actually make it, I just thought I would, do a quick video as my intro, if you will, of all of this gorgeousness that I will now fussy cut, and soon I will show you how to make it. Thank you for watching. See you on the other side of the intro. Okay, so here I'm using glossy accent. It makes the elements all nice and shiny, and it adds dimension. They become a lot more solid as well. Just adds really a lot of interest. Don't do like I did on this video, which is put the elements on a very thick cardboard, because it became very difficult to cut out once it was all dried. I suggest a regular cardstock, even a regular piece of paper, something that will be easy to cut it off of afterwards, because the glossy accent will spill over, and that's not a problem. You can cut it. But in this case, it was extremely hard to cut those flowers. So learn from my mistake. Also, this time I don't have a needle. I didn't need it, but I do suggest you have one close by, just in case there's bubble in your glossy accent as you pour it. So that way with the needle you can pop the bubbles. And now I will add the fabric to the rib box. Sometimes it's cereal box. This time it was rib. Any good old box that you were ready to put in the recyclables is perfect for this. I use Aleene's tacky glue. I find it works very well with pretty much everything I've tried so far in crafting. There's also fabric tack. I usually use that if I have two pieces of fabric I want to glue together, but for fabric on paper or cardboard like this, I find that the regular tacky glue works just fine. So now I will put a piece of fabric in the middle of the spine, the inside, because even with signatures, I find that if you don't do that, you will see the cardboard in between your signatures. And I want to make sure that all we see is fabric, and it just looks good. It looks a lot better overall anyways. And of course, I have to ink all the edges of all the paper, because when you cut paper, the core of the paper a lot of times will be white, and in the end, if you don't ink, I find that it doesn't make it look as finished and polished, if you will. So now I am adding the book corners. I'm sure many of you already know these. If not, they will be in my description box. I use them on all my journals. And the trick I can give you is don't press too hard right from the start. Just go a tiny press here, a tiny press there. Wanna press on one side, then you switch, you press on the other side. Otherwise, the book corner will open, and then it can be a little hard to put it back in place. These ones are small, so it should be pretty easy, but why chance it if you can just do it a tiny bit at a time. That's a kit I got. Very, very awesome little kit. I really love it. And I'm gonna put them on the tags and on the journal. So when we come back, it will be done. And here we are. Now I'm showing you the story I was saying about the glossy accent. The flowers were really hard to cut. I don't like the outcome, so I won't be using it. I won't be using them. The bee I can use because it's a circle, so it's fairly easy to cut, but I will never do it on such thick cardboard again. I won't put it on the front of the journal, which was my original idea, because as you will see further down the journal making progress, I changed my mind and I did something else, but I will probably use it as a decoration for a belly band. I think it would be very lovely. That I made, I will use my wax seal because I have one that is a bee, and I think it will be very lovely to add on that journal. And now I'm showing you specimen windows. This one has a dragonfly, and I will also link the digital kit it came from. They're very lovely, and I do have the intention of putting one in that bee journal because yes, it is a bee journal and most of the elements will be bee related, but I also think it's nice to add a few more critters in there, like a few more insects, I should say. Critters, I don't know why I said that. Like butterflies and dragonflies and all kinds of flowers, things that you would find in the garden where the bees will be buzzing. So here I'm just showing you how to cut the window out. I'm sure most of you would know how to do that, but I do it with the X-Acto because I have this frame punch as I'm showing you, but it didn't work for this. I find it works well if you have just a piece of paper you want to use to make a window or a frame, same thing, then it works perfectly fine. It's amazing. But in this case, where the window was already drawn in the design, it's just easier with the knife. And this time, instead of using the dragonfly in the vellum paper, because I printed them on vellum, this time I'm just going to use packaging. We have a lot of packaging as crafters, and I just keep mine. And sometimes I'll just use a normal piece of scrapbooking paper. I'll fold it in two, make a window in it, and then glue the packaging and put an image inside. So of course, because it's a window and it's supposed to be seen from both sides, you can do two things. Or you can print or have two of the same image that you glue back to back. Or as I did, I had two different butterflies, but they're both sitting on a circle of the same exact size. So I just cut them out and glued them back to back. That way, when you turn the window, the, the specimen window. On one side you have one butterfly and on the other you have the other. but it looks perfect because it's the same exact circles. All I did was add a tiny drop of glue in the middle of the butterflies so they stick to the packaging, otherwise they would fall off. Like that. It really just takes a tiny bit. And now I'm going to glue the packaging in the frame. However, if this was vellum, as I've probably mentioned, or maybe you already know this if you've played with vellum, but if not, just know that vellum does not like to get wet. Therefore, if you put too much glue, it will start to ripple, and it doesn't make a very nice finish. So when you do put the glue on vellum, with your finger, take off the excess and then glue it to the paper. That way it will glue perfectly, it will be solid, and it won't ripple. So here I'm doing an envelope, and this time it is with vellum. So as I've explained before, with the glue, just a tiny, very thin layer of glue, and I wipe it off with my finger, making sure it's not too thick so the paper won't ripple. Also, if you wanted to make a little notch on top of your envelope, I suggest you always use a piece of paper behind your vellum, because if you try and make the cut directly on the vellum with a punch, I find that the vellum just like bends, but it doesn't really cut it through. And as you'll see in a few seconds, see, I'm putting a piece of paper there, and then the punch will punch that little notch on the top of your envelope. Otherwise it would just pretty much bend the paper, and then you have to do it with your scissors. And that's how I do it. This time I just did it once the envelope was done. So that's pretty much it for the first part, and I will come back soon with the rest of the mini bee journal making. Thank you for watching. See you soon.